Here of the bottom rung, I am Subtly Scream, the man with the best dressed drink at the business. You guys know my uh, co-host here, Dieter. How's it going, buddy?
Hello. Not too bad.
Today is my 32nd birthday, actually. So,
Happy birthday, man.
thank you. Birthday podcast. How's your week been on the ladder, mostly?
Mostly bad, actually. We were just talking before the show, and this weekend I started at rank 16, almost rank 15, and I'm now currently rank 19. Just getting crushed by all those Jade Druids out there.
Yeah, the
How
Jade
about you,
Druids
man?
are killer. I pretty much can't beat a Druid to save my life at this point. Um, but I started at rank 13 this week. I think I'm still at rank 13. I've been pretty much even running my uh, Druid Hunter. Um, I'm sorry, not Druid Hunter, Dragon Hunter deck.
Druid Hunter sounds pretty good, though. We should make a
Yeah,
Druid Hunter deck.
yeah, we definitely should. But I've been running my Dragon Hunter deck, which has been doing about 50%, a little below 50%, but enough to keep me alive, keep me there at about rank 13, 14, which isn't too bad. And I had a lot of trouble with the brawl. Um, it was just that crazy, pick a, you know, random deck brawl, the crossbones.
Yep.
And I mean,
Yep.
I
You push go, and it gives you
took me
random,
5 tries
random.
just to beat it. And yeah, so I mean, it's not been the best week of Hearthstone for me, but it hasn't been the worst week. I've had worse weeks. I'm still at
Well,
rank 13, so which is nice.
this has definitely been one of my worst weeks
Yeah.
in Hearthstone.
Um, so you want to talk about the Druid problem? So I pulled up here. What we can see is the meta snapshot from the Tempo Storm, which I think is pretty much everyone's standard meta snapshot. And we can see that the top 5 decks, all of them, are Druid, which is just ridiculous. Um, so I mean, Druid problem is definitely the right way to call it. What I did was I went ahead and uploaded all 5 of those deck lists here. So you can see them. They're a little small, pulled right off of just Tempo Storm's meta. So I have no answer for any of them. So I don't know what you think, but what are you thinking about it?
Yeah, I mean, I think we're both in agreement here. That nerf, the quest nerf rogue, where they nerfed it, it was supposed to make the meta better. But all it did was open the door for this Jade Druid. And then the expansion comes, and there's 2 problem cards and Ultimate Infestation. You put those 2 cards, and then Jade Druid was already a good list. You slow the meta down with the new cards, and boom, you just can't. Druid is just too powerful. Yep, right
Yeah,
there. This card is easily worth 17 mana from all the things that it does if you add up
yeah.
based on other spells currently in the game. And somehow they put it at 10 mana, and it just does so many things.
Well, I mean, I know that.
And they can get out on turn like 6 if they want to, turn 8, or earlier if they ramp. I mean, it's just ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, I know it was originally likened to a Kazakus spell when it first dropped, but it's like, first off, you don't have to run a Highlander deck to make it work.
Right.
You don't have to build it out of random discovery. Um, I mean, yes, it's similar to a Kazaka spell, but it does one more thing, 2 more things than a Kazaka spell. So it's like
Right.
2 Kazaka
Yep.
spells together. Um,
And
and
you can run 2 of them.
yeah, you can run 2 of them,
Yeah.
and you don't have to build your deck around it. It can go in literally every deck. So if I
Right.
if I cover it here, you can see that it's in every one of these deck lists except the aggro druid. Every single one of them runs it, and it's just such a problem.
Right. Well, and maybe if it was in Priest, it wouldn't be quite as bad because there's no ramp.
Right.
But with Druid, you can ramp it out. So you're playing it on maybe turn 8 when the other guy's at 8 mana, you're at 10 mana. And then you pull your 5 cards and you get 2 innervates and a swipe. So not only did you hit 5 damage to something, but then you go ahead and innervate out a swipe and clean up their board, and you're looking at a 5/5, the 5 armor. They just got a ton of card draw. It's just it's crazy.
Yeah, it's absolutely insane. And I mean, I don't have an answer to it at this point. I'm usually the last person to say a card needs to be nerfed, but I'm kind of feeling like if this card doesn't get nerfed, it's just going to be completely and utterly dominant over the meta forever, until the card goes away. Because I don't see how you're combating this. It's just too much of a card um, to be good.
It's overpowered. I don't normally like to throw that around like people say OP OP all the time,
Yeah.
but this is overpowered.
Hmm.
One thought I just had as we were talking is maybe they can make it be like choose one, only you choose two of the four or something.
Right. Or choose
That
two.
might make it yeah
Yeah.
choose two, and you could pick because like Calmos, with like the Calmos, the Firelord, and the Shaman, they have the interface already for four things to pick. So you can pick like choose two, and then with Fandral, sure you can get all four of them, but you have to have Fandral stick and then play a 10-mana card.
Right.
I don't know what else you could do to this card.
Yeah. I don't know. But it's definitely a problem. Um, that doesn't seem to be going away anytime soon. So uh, we will be
And then you look at
watching, of course.
these deck lists. I mean, they even I think kind of as a joke, they put the Malygos Druid up there,
Yeah.
which is it's just funny to think that is a tier S deck just simply because of that card and
Yeah.
spreading plague.
Yeah. I mean, absolutely. I mean, and it's just like it's almost an auto concede right now on Druid because it's like whenever I go up against one, I know I'm going to lose, and I'm just playing it out to.
You just can't
I'm
you just
hoping.
can't overcome that value.
Yeah. I'm hoping to find some kind of way to beat it by playing it over and over again, but it's just not working. Um, and I mean, and the meta's just flooded with it. I said like I said, I was at probably about 50%, a little under 50% right now with my Dragon Hunter, and I every game I've lost is against a Druid. I know it. It's just like
Yeah,
every single time. So
yep. And a lot of times against Druid, it's a Jade. So
yeah,
they usually just ramping for the first like 5 turns. Like, oh, maybe I have a chance this game. So you keep playing. You pull your Skulking Geist. You drop that. Hey, things are going pretty good. Then they ramp out their Ultimate Infestation, and then the stuff just keeps coming, and you can't ever get back on board. You just can't do it, and then you just waste it, and it feels so bad
yeah,
to lose to that
and
because it feels like up to that point you had a chance. You're like, this game actually has a chance.
right. Well, and then on top of it, it's like all of the people that I'm seeing on my Facebook posts, like all my friends there, are all like, "Oh, I reached legend with Jade Druid or Token Druid or whatever." And I'm like, why do you even want to play those at this point? I mean, it's just
Right.
I don't think it's that much fun to play, but at the same time, I'm trying to get this um, golden hunter is my goal for the end of this month. When and obviously I'm not getting it by the end of this month. It'll have to be next month, but um, at the same time, it's like I'm trying to play this, and I just can't. I just can't do it. You know, I can't get anywhere.
Yeah.
So
Well, I think both of us are kind of counter meta guys anyway.
right,
I prefer to play priest or mage or some kind of kookier deck, which has probably contributed to why my week has been so bad. I've been
right,
trying out a bunch of different mage lists. I've been trying out priest lists. Bear myself to play Jade Druid.
right,
Um, when the expansion first dropped, I did play a couple games with a taunt Druid, which did run Ultimate Infestation, but it did not run Jade cards. So I could maybe see myself playing that.
right.
But even then, you're still playing the problem cards.
Yeah,
I don't really feel good doing.
yeah. It doesn't feel good at all. Um, so in talks of my Dragon Hunter, I just kind of wanted to bring that one up. This is my list. This is actually a homegrown list that I'm kind of proud of, which is why I'm featuring it. It's not the best list in the world, but like I said, it's kept me at rank 13. Um, and I wanted to highlight a couple of the scenarios. I mean, my original thought process was the the dragon package in itself is a strong deck style, so it really should work in any hero. And as I'm trying to get this golden hunter, and I'm really finding that very little works with hunter at this point. I was just really searching for an archetype that was both fun to play, but also had some kind of at least 50-50 chance of winning at one point. So this is kind of what I came up with. Just picking the basic druid package, or I'm sorry, I keep saying druid, dragon package out of it. Primordial Drake, the curator to pull them out of your deck, the bookworm. The Bone Drake is actually really good in this deck because it's kind of like it's like a third Savannah High main. I'd run two of them, but I only have one. So probably have two of those and just one Savannah High main if I had it. And then you got the Cobalt Seabane, or I'm sorry, Scalebane, which is a fantastic card in itself if it can stay alive. Twilight Drake, just because it's a dragon, it's got a big body behind it. So the three cards that I wanted to really highlight in this lineup is the Bone Mar, the Stitch Tracker, and the Kobold Scalebane. So the Bone Mar is really your win condition. When you're playing, you just keep dropping a bunch of threats, things that are difficult to remove, and then you finally have just one minion on the board, usually by turn 7. You drop your Bone Mar, you give it 4/4 and taunt, you attack, they kill that, then you've got a 5/5. You hope for your second Bone Mar, or you drop the Cobalt. Um, and so the Cobalt just kind of boosts everybody's attack. It's like it's there, they want to respond to it, but at the same time, it in itself creates a minion that they have to deal with. So, I mean, even if you drop the Alley Cat and then the Cobalt Scalebane, you've got a 1/4 and you've got a 5/5 that if they can't deal with it, they're going to start getting a lot of damage to their face. The Stitch Tracker is a great card that's in Hunter that I didn't think was going to be that great. But the best thing about it is it gives you an extra copy of a lot of the cards. And what I actually usually search for when I'm using them is my big game hunter. You're running into a lot of Jade Druids, which create a lot of big guys. You also have the Lich King that's an 8/8, and they're all really good targets for the big game hunter. So usually I drop that Stitch Tracker. I'm looking for that big game hunter to kind of help me bridge the gap to the end of the game, and it really has been super helpful for that. Um, so I mean, it's been a nice deck. I've had a lot of fun playing with it. It's not widely successful, but it definitely helps me out winning games. So that's that one there.
Yeah, anytime you can discover something in your deck, it's very powerful. The same concept as shadow visions in priest. Being able to pull an extra spell is super handy. And then when you run a minion based list like this hunter is, pulling an extra minion depending on the situation is also very helpful. Like you can find an extra bookworm to kill a small guy. You can find, like you said, your big game hunter to kill a big guy. Yeah, so it's a really nice card. Um, you just have to find the right list for it.
Right.
And Bone Mare is just a great card. I remember when they revealed that on one of the streams, and we're just like, this is crazy. A 7-mana common that does that? And I'm glad it hasn't become oppressive like Ultimate Infestation. I think it's actually a pretty balanced card. You do pay a decent amount for the card, and it's late enough that you have to have a minion stick. So it's not a problem, but it is nice to pull off, and it feels good. But it doesn't
Yeah.
feel bad if you're the other player either. Like, oh, he played Bone Mare, that's fine. You can respect that. He didn't play Jade Idol for the 19th time and pull up a huge, So
Yeah.
yeah, I like this list a lot. Do you find though that if you get off to a bad start, it's hard to recover?
I actually don't find that I'm in a lot of situations where I don't feel like I can't climb back. A lot of that has to do with Stitch Tracker, the Curator, and Bone Mar because I can usually find either enough taunt or enough pull from my deck that I don't feel like I'm struggling to come back. A lot of my decks go, or a lot of my hands go to the point where I'm dropping Dexter or Rexar. I'm making 3 or 4 beasts. I end up playing them. And a lot of them have gone to fatigue. I mean, it's a really, really good late game hunter. And with the meta the way it is, other than, Druid being able to build the way it does, most of the meta I've been running into isn't early game meta. I mean, I go up against a pirate hunter or a pirate warrior and just lose. I mean, that's just the way that
Right.
is.
I
But
haven't seen Pirate Warrior since the first day of the expansion, actually.
I've seen it a couple times, and I mean, I just lose against it. It's not easy to win, but as long as I can bridge to turn 6 or 7, then I don't find that I'm really having a big trouble coming back.
Would you
It,
ever consider dropping one of your 6 drops for Skulking Geist? Do you think that would improve the Druid matchup at all?
I really don't think it would improve the Druid matchup at all, but I mean, maybe. I don't actually have a Skulking Geist yet. Still being free to play. It's I'm subject to whatever I can pull out of the packs that I learn. But um, I mean, I don't know. I mean, Jade Druid is hard, but it's just the Ramp Druid really that I think I've been running more into. Um, I feel like that's been more common when I run into than the Jade Druid. And when I
Oh,
do
really?
run into Jade Druid, I feel they're using their minions that create Jade tokens almost as much as they're using the idols. Like they're using the full Jade package. And I don't know. I mean, Skulking Geist seems like a great card to combat it, but I honestly don't know if it would combat it. I mean, I guess it's something I should craft and
Uh,
give it a try.
I've
Maybe.
pretty much put it in every list that I have
Hmm.
because I've been running into way more Jade than any other kind of Druid. Um, and you're right; they have all the other minions to generate Jade, so you don't stop it completely. Is just all those 1 mana, shuffle 1 mana, create a huge one.
Right.
So it doesn't kill completely, like you said, but it does help a little bit.
Right.
Though I might have still lost to those Jade Druids because of Ultimate Infestation or other reasons. At least their at least their Jades didn't get to the size that they have been in the past.
Right.
So I don't know what you would cut to put it in there. Um,
I mean, how big
Maybe
of
one of your
the
other 6. What's it?
how big of Jades are you usually running into? Um, my wife wants to say hi. Hang on a second.
Hello. Oh, hi.
She just got home from work, so she wanted to come in and say hi. I don't know if they heard you at all.
Very upset.
Why did he doesn't look upset?
Because wait, so it's upset. There we go. Hi.
Anyway, I mean, how big are the Jades that you're running into? I mean, the biggest ones that I think I get usually only hit 6 or 7, but at that point, I'm dead. I never see them hit double digits. I don't think I've seen a Jade Druid hit double digits this meta.
I
And
definitely have.
yeah,
Yeah, playing as Priest a lot, I'm able to kind of negate their early ones and then hold on long enough that they start to get pretty big.
right,
Especially if you can't draw into your Skulking Geist and then they just keep growing.
right. Yeah, I mean, maybe it's something to look into. I'll have to craft one and see. It's
Yeah, I don't
a
know if I draft it honestly,
yeah,
because J2 is a problem no matter what. I'm still losing to them even with Skulking Geist.
right.
Stink, or the list I'm playing just stink, or maybe it's just that good of a list.
Yeah, I don't know. Um, all right. Well, speaking of deck lists, you had another list that you wanted to talk about, which is the Elemental Mage. So I brought it up here. You want to go ahead and talk about it?
All right, so this is I actually found this on HearthstoneTopDecks.com. It's one of the pro player deck lists. Um, Basically, I've been trying to get Frostlich Jaina to work in a list. I pulled a golden one for my packs on opening day, and I've just been messing around with lists trying to get this to work. So obviously, once you drop Frostlich Jaina, all of your elementals get lifesteal. So any elementals that you have become a lot more powerful. The Baron Geddon, him being an elemental,
Hmm.
all that 2 damage he does is a really big life boost.
Oh, absolutely.
So you get a ton of life from that, which is awesome. Adding
Yeah.
in, following along that path, adding in the Sermon to Calamos to find more elementals. Um, the Steam Surge is kind of cool because it gives you that little bit of damage spell.
Right.
This list hasn't been wildly successful for me. I have a ton of, but just something you have Frostlich Jaina that I've been messing around a little bit with. I mean, I've tried tons of different Frostlich lists. I've tried more control kinds. I've tried burn kinds. I've tried a quest one with Frostlich Jaina. That
Yeah.
didn't go too well. So yeah, this is just one that I was playing around with. Pyros is actually really cool too, obviously because you can get that 10-10 at the end. And I
Right.
actually won a game because of the lifesteal. He
Right.
traded into it, gave me 10 health, and then his next turn, fatigue killed him.
Nice.
So pretty sweet.
Yeah. I mean, I know that with Pyros, mostly I've used him to like um, when it's like discover a card from your opponent's class or something like that. That's the most I've ever used Pyros, and I find he's actually a pretty good pick in for hallucination.
Yeah, just that the value that you're going to get from it. You can trade off the 2/2, you can trade off the 6/6, and then you have to drop the 10/10. And they probably already used the removal on the 6/6 at
Right.
that point, or yeah, or hit one of your other big threats you actually played in your deck.
Right.
So that part of it's cool. It's not a tier 1 card
Right.
must craft or anything, but it is a fun card to play with, and the animation's cool, which is always fun.
Right. All right. Moving on. I had a story that I wanted to read. That I kind of wrote up. It's the story of Archbishop Benedictus. It's a card that I think is going to be good at some point if someone can figure out how to make it work. But I just want to kind of talk about his story throughout the Azeroth uh, storyline. So this is including World of Warcraft as well as the novels that he appears in. So Benedictus begins as a leader of the Alliance. However, most of the time he is spent fighting a character you all know and love, Thrall. So that's the good old shaman that we love. He begins as a student of the Holy Light, and as a student, he helps erect the Cathedral of Light, which is in Stormwind City, and it's a building you might recognize on this picture here, right on the game board there. After the old Archbishop dies, Benedictus was given the rank and put in charge of the Church of Holy Light. Everything seemed fine until the Cataclysm happened. During the Cataclysm, Stormwind City was destroyed by the dragon Deathwing, which we've all played both of his incarnations. After this event, we begin to find out Benedictus's true side. First, he attempts to use the cult of the Twilight Hammer to assassinate King Varian and his son Anduin. So this is one of the cards that we received, and if you remember, that was actually Anduin's father was King Varian. He was a warrior card, which they had an interesting interaction when you played him. So he used the Cult of the Twilight hammer to try to assassinate both of them, but when that failed, he just kind of went back to being um, the Archbishop of the Holy Light. Meanwhile, in the novels, we see a new leader of the Twilight cult rise. He's known as the Twilight Father. He, his cultists, and a horde of dragons laid siege to Wormrest, which is actually where the card Wormrest Agent comes from. If you guys remember that, it's in Wild now, but that's where we get those guys. And of course, they're fighting Thrall himself as well. The Twilight Father reports directly to Deathwing, and after the siege of Wormrest ends in failure, as a ritual by Thrall defeats the Twilight Father and his dragon Chromatus, not to be confused with the Cro-Magnus, but Chromatus. And Deathwing sends the Twilight Father to Stormwind with instructions to keep a low profile. This is when it is revealed that the Twilight Father is actually none other than Archbishop Benedictus himself. A little while later in World of Warcraft, changing his title from Twilight Father to Twilight Prophet, Benedictus plans yet another attack on Thrall. This is because he prophesied that Thrall would be the one to defeat Deathwing. Benedictus actually uses Fandrel Strangham to lead the attack against Thrall. Um, Fandrel, of course, is unsuccessful in his attack on Thrall and is later killed in battle. At this point, the betrayal of Benedictus of the Alliance is still not widely known. He sets out on a mission to assist the dragons in Wormrest Temple, where he has his final battle against Thrall, and he's defeated. The champions of Thrall kill him, and then they return to Stormwind City with words of his betrayal. The man that he left in charge of the Church of Light is Bishop Farthing. He denies these betrayals, and then later takes Benedictus's place as the Twilight Prophet and the leader of the Twilight Cult. So it's a really rich history for this card that came out, and I think it's a really cool story. There's a lot more in it. That's just kind of what a summation for the podcast to go through.
Yeah, definitely. It's cool to see how many cards they tie into the game from the lore. It's cool that it's a priest card.
You think every priest card is cool?
Maybe. Hero Collage was not the coolest priest card.
Fair enough. Yeah, so I think that's all I've got planned. Did you have anything else planned for today?
Maybe we could just talk quickly about the Hearthstone Global Games.
Oh, right.
They start again on the 25th of August. USA will play. I can't remember their opponent right now, but vote for USA.
Yeah,
Pretty awesome.
absolutely vote for USA. I saw the champion, choose a champion thing pop up, and I figured why not, but I didn't really know what it was about. So, do you know what the prize is, or?
I'm assuming it's similar to the other Choose Your Champions. I think you'll probably get at least one pack for voting, and then maybe up to 5 if your team wins.
Nice.
Yeah, which is pretty awesome. Team USA is pretty loaded. They've got Firebat as the team captain. He was the 2014 champion. They have Amnesiac, Hot Meowth, and Dog. All fantastic players. I think the other team to watch out for would be Ukraine. They have Kalento and Nyria, who are both fantastic players.
Yeah.
So I'm expecting both USA and Ukraine to advance to the championship, and then the championship should be a pretty intense game.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I know Kalento personally, actually. He's a weird dude, but he's a really good Hearthstone player.
Oh yeah,
So,
he's
should
a
be,
strange guy.
yeah.
I watched him in the spring championship tournament. Just
Mhm.
one of those super kind of cocky, confident characters, but he definitely can play the game. But the USA team just has so many good players. I mean, I don't know if you know much about Dog, but he's a fantastic player. Hot Meowth is really good. Amnesiac, I'm not so sure on. He's one of the younger guys. He's like one of those prodigy people, but when he's on, he's really on. And Firebat's just awesome. He's a great guy. I watch his YouTube highlights sometimes. Just a funny guy to watch, and
Yeah.
so it's pretty cool that he's the team captain.
I've definitely seen Firebat before. Didn't they actually name the card Fiery Bat after him?
Yes, they did. Yep.
Yeah. So,
And that's actually it's become his little logo on YouTube now. It's pretty cool.
that's awesome. But yeah, no, I've definitely seen him win or play a lot. And I know a little bit about Dog as well, but the other guys I didn't know anything about.
Right.
So it should be
that
interesting.
starts the 25th of August. I think it's live in Cologne, Germany. So it'll probably be mid-afternoon our time. I think when they were playing games.
Right.
Imagine. I don't ever watch these things live though because it's never at a time that's convenient for me to watch. But,
Yeah.
I don't know. This whole tournament's been a pretty awesome thing. It started way back in January, and there's just been tons of rounds and teams playing teams, and it's kind of a cool idea. To try and get you to root for your country. Have you paid attention to it at all throughout
No.
the process at all?
No, not at all. No.
Yeah.
So
I think there were
started in
either
January.
4 or 5 phases, and like the first 3 phases were like group stages. So a lot of teams had a chance to kind of prove themselves in advance, and then it started all of a sudden like elimination rounds. So you went from all these like group play right into elimination. So it's kind of an odd transition because these teams were used to, we can lose a couple games here and there, we'll still advance, but all of a sudden these teams are cut. I think that's when China went. You'd expect China to be pretty good, but they didn't make it. So I think the four teams are Czech Republic, USA, and South Korea versus Ukraine. I think those are the four teams that are in this tournament.
Oh, that's pretty
So
cool.
yeah, it's been. I think I don't normally follow the pro scene, but I've been following it a little bit more recently, just because I've been watching Firebat and he's been talking about it on like Omnistone and things like that. So I've been kind of keep up with that a little bit.
Yeah. No, it's definitely something we'll have to watch for. Um,
So what's your deck this for this coming week? What's you gonna keep playing your Dragon Hunter?
you know what? I found another mid-ranged hunter that is running Bone Mar, so it has a similar win condition to my Dragon Hunter, but it's not as limited because it's running a lot more um, hunter cards. It's also running the Lich King, which I think I need to put into my Dragon Hunter. I did create a version 1.1 of my Dragon Hunter. I didn't put that up there because it's 0 and 4 or something like that right now. So it's not. I tried to fine tune it, but it hasn't worked out. But I found another mid range hunter, so I'm probably gonna stick with that until um, till I get that golden hunter, and then I don't know where I'm going from there. We'll have to see. Thinking maybe arena, try to get a 12 win run in arena, which is something I've never done. So
My best arena run is 5. I'm not super great at arena.
I think my best is 8, but I haven't. I think they have that stat on there, and I haven't looked in a long time. And honestly, I haven't played arena in a long time. You know, when the Ahoon Frost Festival was going on, and we were getting the free arena runs, I was getting 2 wins, and we were spotted 1 win. So I was really getting, I was getting 1 win a run. So I got a while to go to get to a 12 win run, but I think that's probably going to be my next goal after that. What about you?
Yeah, I'll keep messing around with mage or priest whenever I feel like. Whenever I find a cool list. I don't know if you ever use this website, Hearthstone Top Decks. Have you ever heard of that one?
No.
So Hearthstone is where all the people can go and post their stuff. But this Hearthstone Top Decks, they actually pull the decks that the pros are running. So it's kind of cool. So you can see like Tice or Racy, all these names what they're playing on stream, what's working for them. So you try and find some little bit different lists on here. Like Reynad or Nyria, they'll have like a quest match on here right now. So it's kind of cool. I usually go there and I'm looking for something different to play. A lot of times on Hearthstone, when you go to there, it's just anybody. They can put a list up there.
Right.
So you kind of find some crummy lists sometimes, even though it might look like a good idea. But this Hearthstone top decks, this is what the pro is playing, so maybe it's better, or at least they've tried it a little bit more.
Yeah.
Might
I
not
mean,
be.
my only problem with the pro decks is the pros play at such a higher level than us.
This is true.
When I'm playing down at rank 15, the different things win. And it was like back when Handlock was dominant, and it was like, oh, everyone should run it. And, it was so good. It was, back when GVG was a thing and everything else. It was like it just doesn't work at the level that I play. And it should have, but it didn't. I mean, at least it
Yeah,
didn't
it's
work for
almost like
me.
you have to dumb it down for the competition, so to speak. Like some of these lists are designed for a meta that doesn't exist for us
Right.
because they're the tech cards. You don't need those tech cards because people are just playing J Druid or they're playing some weird hunter deck that manages to beat you, even though it shouldn't because they're playing hunter or whatever. Um,
Right.
so yeah, I can understand that, but like I said, it's just fun to I'm trying to find something different to play. Like, what's a list that has this weird legendary card? You can usually have like some pros trying it on their stream to get viewers or whatever.
Right.
So it's kind of fun to just pull that up.
Yeah, I've got two of the princes. Speaking of layered legendary cards, the 4-1 and the 2-1, and right after it dropped, I tried the 4-1 out in a mid-range hunter, and it just absolutely did not work. And the
Right.
2-1,
Yeah, I tried the same. I tried the same, and you were right. It
yeah,
doesn't work.
it just doesn't work.
Um,
Yeah. So, all right. Next week, I'm not sure what time we're gonna do it. I have my fantasy football uh draft next week's, which is gonna probably run into this time, would be my
Yeah,
guess.
we'll probably have to push it to
Yeah.
next week, the week after that, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, unless you can do like Saturday, but we'll sort that out and we'll update accordingly. So, all right, man. Well, it was good talking to you. Thanks for streaming with me, and good luck on the ladder this week.
Yeah, same to you.
All right.
Bye,
Later.
everybody.
Bye.